Friday night, we did see, perhaps, or yes, just simply, we did see the best individual performance all time in our great game of baseball. MLB Game Night, every game, every night, postseason edition, and we are underway.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Running and ready to have plenty of fun with our latest edition of MLB Game Night, every game, every night, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. He is Lindsay Crosby. Lindsay is the host of the Locked On Braves Postcast. You can follow him on the X at Crosby Baseball. I'm Steve Lenox, host of the Locked On Red Sox Postcast. You can follow me on the X at Lenox on Baseball. Lindsay, we will be talking about the Mariners finally winning at home in the American League Championship Series. Yes, the Seattle Mariners, we can say it out loud now, one win away from going to the World Series for the first time in franchise history. We're going to talk about Shohei. We're going to talk about the Dodgers. They are on the way to the World Series. And yes, we're looking for maybe our first repeat champion since the Yankees won 3 in a row back in 98, 99, and 2000. We are presented by FanDuel. Yes, FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your first $5 bet wins, you're going to receive $300 in bonus bets across the FanDuel app. Download that FanDuel app today. Lindsay, we do open up with Shohei Ohtani. 6 scoreless. Didn't record an out in the 7th inning.
No.
Struck out 10. 3 solo home runs at the plate. Dodgers win Game 4. They complete the series sweep against the Milwaukee Brewers, who go home after winning 97 games in the regular season. We'll get into the Brewers. We'll hear from Chuck Freeman a bit later on here in segment number 1. But Shohei, right off the top, he is the talking point. He is the focal point, not only for our MLB Game Night show, but he's going to be the talking point all the way until Game 1 of the World Series next Friday.
As a Braves fan, as somebody who covers the Braves, I'm very glad Ronald Acuna Jr. won an MVP award before Shohei got in the National League. I genuinely, we make jokes. And I think a lot of people have recency bias when they talk about, oh, that was the greatest performance of all time, right? And it's the greatest that they've seen since the last time they called something the greatest. And that's kind of what happens. This may legitimately be the single greatest playoff performance of all time, simply because Shohei, to your point, he doesn't record an out in the 7th, but 2 hits, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts, while also going 3 for 3 with 3 home runs at the plate. It's, I'm kind of running out of words, and it's not like they were cheap home runs either. One of his, it said, I think 469. I'm like, that thing had to be 669 feet. The baseball gods shined favorably on Shohei Ohtani, and he's somebody we will be talking about for as long as this game exists.
I think it's 1 and 2, and you can decide as a fan the all-time greatest performance. Don Larson, you have to go back to 1956, Game 5 of the World Series, by the way, against the Brooklyn Dodgers. Don Larson for the Yankees throwing a perfect game. That was just on the pitching side.
Yeah.
Ohtani goes 6 scoreless, and you do take into consideration, or at least I do, the fact that this came in a series-clinching victory as well, and he did it on the mound and at the plate. So Larson, to me, can take a back seat. It was a perfect game, the only one ever in World Series play. But this Friday night, and I think you and I can agree, the extra inning game, the Mariners extra inning game that went 15 innings, I do not like calling something an instant classic.
Right.
But if this is a repeat, and again, they're not MLB Network has plenty of programming right now. They can run this multiple times in the coming days leading up to the World Series next week. I would be enamored. Is this the inning hit his second home run? Oh, okay, it's the bottom of the first. He's going to lead off. I would sit there and probably watch at least a couple of innings on the mound and at the plate as well, knowing full well what happened.
Yeah, you can tell a game's really good when you're willing to sit down and rewatch the game just for fun. But that's where we are. And I do think the Don Larson comparison is really interesting. I mean, it was like, that was a Maddox. It was 97 pitches for the whole thing. But to your point, it was only pitching. There was no offense in there. And I think for me, while the pitching wasn't as dominant, it was still pretty gosh darn good. And you combine that with the fact that it was essentially a perfect day at the plate for Shohei. 3 for 3, 3 home runs, draws a walk as well. But just phenomenal. And it's really funny. I remember looking over with our friends on FanDuel going into this game, the favorite to win NLCS MVP was Freddie Freeman because he had like one solo shot and like 3 hits in the series coming into tonight. And then Shohei does what he did. Shohei won NLCS MVP. And you could tell the struggles he was having in the postseason. It's weird to think of a baseball player that's so talented and so good. He clearly just said, I'm tired of not being good in the postseason. Yeah. I'm tired of not performing well in this postseason. And he just decided, I'm going to go out and have the game of my life. And he did it. And that is absurd.
He walks the leadoff hitter, Bryce Terang, to open up the game in the top of the first inning. Strikes out the next 3 hitters.
Yep.
And I'm thinking Crash Davis and Nuke LaLucia, like, the moment's over. The moment's over. Yeah, the moment's over on the mound. You just struck out 3 straight hitters against a Brewers offense that did not show up for the League Championship Series. And then you go up to the plate and boom, home run against Quintana. And you've already given yourself a 1-0 lead. It turns out it's 3-0 after that first inning.
Mm-hmm. There's nowhere my job is to talk about baseball, and I can't find any words to talk about what the thrill of watching Shohei Ohtani play. Like, again, as a Braves fan, I really don't want another National League team to be a dynastic juggernaut, but there's no way I can bet against Shohei Ohtani. There's no way that I can say, yeah, you're going to beat the Dodgers when they have Shohei Ohtani. It's just not, it doesn't happen.
You know, you mentioned Acuna Jr., you're glad that he's got an NL MVP. Mm-hmm. You're an agent for a free agent this winter, and you're talking about signing with a National League team, and they're like, well, how about performance incentives and bonuses? Win NL MVP. Yeah, sure. Okay,
if I have a top 2 finish, I get the same bonus.
Yes.
You've got to change my contract. Top 2 finish.
Win it or
Kyle
top
Tucker,
2.
Go to the American League.
Yeah. On the mound. Yeah. Was there any particular inning? Because he retired the side 1, 2, 3 in the 5th, did the same in the 6th inning. And the Brewers, again, 1 hit, 2 walks, and striking out 10 times through the first 6 innings. He faced 2 batters in the 7th, gave up a walk and a single, and that was it. And again, it talks to the Brewers offense, and we'll get into the Brewers here, and we'll hear from Chuck Freeman in just a moment. But was there anything on the mound? The 10 strikeouts, impressive. I mentioned the first inning where he struck out 3 after giving up the leadoff walk. Was there anything on the mound that stood out for you with Ohtani over those 6+?
I think it was maybe how effortless it looked. Like, he didn't having watched a lot of LA baseball, because we do this show, we do it live after the West Coast games are over. Having watched a lot of LA baseball and a lot of Shohei's starts as he was coming back, he never really felt like he was back to the Shohei Ohtani he could be. And you could tell that he was having to figure out on the fly how to get outs. And tonight, it really just kind of felt like he could do whatever he wanted. That there was and thinking about that 6th inning, they throw Isaac Collins in there to pinch hit to open the inning, and then it flips over to the top of the lineup, and it's Bryce Terang for a 3rd time. Not an issue. Jackson Chourio, technically a hard hit ball. It was like 97 miles an hour, but Bryce Terang, Jackson Chourio fly ball, center field, it's an out, and over. And it's just 3rd time through the order, didn't matter. Turning over that lineup, not a big deal. He just took care of it. And when you kind of dig into the numbers, like, he only had, what was it? I just had it here. Sorry. He had 19 whiffs. He threw 7 different pitches today.
Everything.
And he threw everything. He threw 3 different fastballs. He threw 2 different sliders. a splitter and a curveball, and it's just pure dominance. I mean, yes, he gave up a little bit of hard hit balls, but like, who doesn't? And they could do anything with him. His fastball, they swung 18 times. They fouled 10 of them off and whiffed 6 more. Like, they put 2 fastballs into play. They swung it at 18 times. Like, that just doesn't happen in Major League Baseball, in modern Major League Baseball. But Shohei was able to make it happen. He averaged 98.5 and touched 100 on it. It's nuts.
And he was terrific. And the bullpen got the job done. The Brewers, as they did in all 4 games, got their 1 run late. It was against the bullpen Friday night for the Dodgers. But I think there's something to be said about the Milwaukee offense in this 4-game sweep because it was almost non-existent. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll pay off the Brewers on the other side. We're going to hear from Chuck Freeman. Then we'll get into Toronto and Seattle. The Mariners winning finally a home game in the ALCS, and they'll now go to Toronto with 2 opportunities to clinch the ALCS and go to the World Series for the first time in franchise history. With Friday's victory, the Dodgers now 9-1 in the postseason, 7-1 at home, and with the NL Pennant, it is their 26th in franchise history and their 14th in Los Angeles after they moved in the 1950s from Brooklyn to LA. I still have relatives who are sick over that. It's MLB Game Night, postseason edition. We'll continue on the other side. We'll hear from Chuck Freeman as we talk baseball and the League Championship Series.
This episode's brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of the MLB playoffs with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Because playing Prize Picks is such a fun and simple way to add more excitement to the postseason. You just pick more or less on player projections, like Shohei Ohtani's total bases or Vlad Guerrero hitting a home run, and you're in the game. I love how quick it is. You can make your lineup in just under a minute. It's fun to follow other players in the app and copy their lineups with one click. And they have a super cool thing for football called stacks. So if I want to ride with a player, I can select their pass yards, their rush yards, and touchdowns all in one lineup. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Dodgers, and we talked Shohei Ohtani throughout the first segment here on MLB Game Night, every game, every night. We're going to talk about the Brewers here as the Dodgers do win Game 4, 5-1. They sweep the NLCS in the World Series for the 2nd straight year, and an opportunity. Dave Roberts said it after the game. You know, people say we're ruining baseball. Well, we got 4 more wins, and we're going to continue to ruin baseball. That's paraphrasing, but Lindsay, before you and I continue, let's hear from Chuck Freeman because he sums it up. And you know, again, multiple times here in the postseason, Chuck doing his recap for us before the game even ended.
Another post-game video where the game is not even over, but Shohei pretty much put the finishing touches on the Brewers. Actually, I could have probably did this after his first home run in the first Dodger at bat of the game. Everybody, Chuck Freeman, instant reaction, Locked On Brewers. Shohei puts on, I just saw the best performance in postseason history. Shohei, amazing on the mound, and he hits 3 bombs. So much for Shohei being in a slump. We knew that was going to eventually explode, but I didn't think this. But you know what? This season was coming to an end anyway. Last night sealed it when he got down 0-3. I still came here with maybe a glimmer of hope. Dodgers scored 3 runs in the first inning. 4 games. Series is over in 5 days. And I don't want to hear the argument that they were one of the final 4 teams. Don't want to hear that. They won 97 games. I was one of the fools who believed that maybe they could overcome these big spending teams. And the Cubs don't count. They back like a small market. This team right here. Oh, the Brewers went 6-0 against them during the regular season. But the Dodgers go 4-0 against the Brewers when it really counted. Sal Frelick bounces into a double play with guys at first and second to end the 7th inning. When does he ever bounce into a double play? Bad at bats, swinging at balls out of the strike zone. Stuff they had not done all season long showed up here in this series against the Dodgers. Not even really competing. And we're going to say, well, God, congratulations to the Brewers. Regular season champs again. We just jobbed out. We just jobbed out to the Dodgers. I guess that's all we are. We job out to the bigger teams. Bigger market teams, the Dodgers. Okay, we got a lot to talk about on Locked On Brewers a little bit later on tonight. Hopefully I'll let some steam off between now and then.
He might still be waiting in the parking lot at Dodger Stadium.
Chavez Ravine is not the easiest place to get out of. Yeah. Something he touched on though. This is the fourth season in the last 5 years that the Dodgers have won. I'm sorry, the Brewers have won more than 90 games. And this is the farthest that they made it in the postseason, right? It was 2 wild card losses. It was an NLDS loss. And then here they lost in the NLCS. Is there something just inherently flawed or limiting about Milwaukee's specific approach? Speed and defense, they don't hit for a ton of power. Is there just something that's fundamentally lacking? Or is this, they can do it, but everything has to break right, and it's really hard for everything to break right when LA's on the other side?
I feel like as you're posing that, we're watching the end of the movie Moneyball as it's the voiceover. They're fundamentally flawed when it comes, Minnesota.
My stuff doesn't work in the playoffs. Yeah.
It doesn't work. And to your credit, because I didn't want to believe you.
Yeah.
End of the regular season, you were saying this, and yes, they get further, but I mean, the way they lose in the National League Championship Series, getting swept, scoring 4 total runs, I think 14 total hits, Christian Yelich almost doing nothing in the postseason. That can't happen. Along those lines, they'll compete in the NL East, or NL Central, pardon me. But even if they get back to the League Championship Series next year in 2026, as we're talking about a potential lockout after baseball in 2026, the Dodgers, again, the payroll, Milwaukee fans aren't going to be fooled into believing that, we're going to get past them until they actually do it. And I don't know that, they would be able to do it. They'd have to add more offseason trade deadline in 2026 to get back to just to where they got in 2025.
If there's, I know we're doing a lot of like non-game specific talk about the Brewers here, but I just want to, I have a lot of that for the Blue Jays game. Don't worry. I want to if there was one free agent that feels like it would completely change this team as far as the ceiling and what they could do, part of me thinks give them a Pete Alonso 50 homer caliber bat to stick in the cleanup spot. And this could be a different team. It just feels like they don't, that's the element that they're missing. And to your point, this is what I talked about late in September, is that speed and D works to a certain extent, but in the postseason, you've got to be able to hit home runs. And we saw them advance to the NLCS by being able to get home runs, getting William Contreras home runs and Jackson Chourio home runs and popping long balls. That's how they got there. And then when they faced 3-4 very good starting pitchers,
they got shut down.
They got shut down and couldn't do it. And it feels like honestly, that kind of feels like where they're going to cap out, is something like everything can come together, pitching staff, bullpen, lineup, everything. And then they're going to cap out at the NLCS when they run into an amazing rotation and the greatest player arguably to play a team sport potentially when he's done, and Shohei Ohtani.
You say Pete Alonso. Can I say Kyle Tucker? A bat like that.
No way that the Kyle Tucker money would happen in Milwaukee. Maybe they work out a money thing for Pete Alonso, but yeah, a big power bat that can, he'd be the tallest player on the team. Everybody but everybody but one is under 6 foot tall. He'd be the biggest player on the team. It's like him and Yelich. But outside of that, it's just they just need that thump, and they don't have it. And I think that you really saw in this series, when they faced really good pitching, they could never just get that big hit to get them to make it a contest in any of these games.
Yeah, I still say they compete.
Yeah.
But it's for the central title, and where they go in the postseason. I mean, they'd have to get on a heck of a run. I mean, they got through the first two, or rather, the round that they had, in the division series. I don't know. Obviously, we're moving Mariners, Blue Jays back to segment number 3.
Yeah.
We're going to get into a great game. It does get overshadowed in a lot of ways, but we're going to get into that. Yes, it's all on me. It's not on Lindsay. We get into Blue Jays and the Mariners, Game 5 of the American League Championship Series. I promise that is next MLB Game Night.
The NFL season's here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You just pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I'm personally a fan of how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, I've tried player props, and even just following the live lines during games. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Blue Jays Mariners 2-2 into the bottom of the 8th inning in Seattle for Game 5 Friday night. That was the first of the 2 League Championship Series games on TBS and FS1 Friday. We do not have baseball on Saturday. There will be a Game 6 back in Toronto. Ty Day Gonzalez, Locked On Mariners, has the details of the win for the Mariners at home in Seattle. First home win in the series.
Out the rye bread and mustard, Grandma. We're one win away from the World Series. This is Ty Day Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. This team, man, this team just continues to fight. They continue to surprise you when you think all hope is lost. They were 6 outs away from getting swept in their home portion of the ALCS. Down 2-1. The offense looked just so lifeless outside of Eugenio Suarez's solo home run in the second inning. But you started doing the math. Louis Varland, really the only guy that you have to be super concerned about in this Blue Jays. He's not going to be able to finish out this game. And in comes Brendan Little. They're in the 8th inning. And immediately, big dumper, the MVP, with the biggest of all of his big swings so far to knot things up at 2 apiece. Little eventually walks the next 2 guys. Sir Anthony Dominguez hits Randy Arozarena, setting the stage for one of the biggest hits, maybe the biggest hit in the history of T-Mobile Park. Eugenio Suarez's game-winning grand slam to right field to put things away, to give the Mariners this 3-2 lead, to put them closer than they've ever been before to the World Series. They've gotten to 2 wins in the ALCS a few times, but never 3. This is the first time they've done that. And it's all thanks to Eugenio Suarez, who's been really bad at T-Mobile Park since the Mariners acquired him at the trade deadline. But not today. 2 massive swings, and that second swing in particular, it's hard not to think about Dave Niehaus. The Mariners will head to Toronto, my neck of the woods, once again, and you know I'll be at the ballpark looking to see the boys clinch their first ever trip to the World Series. We'll see if they can get it done on Sunday or Monday. We'll talk to you on the Locked On Mariners podcast here in a couple hours. See you then. Peace.
Were you shocked that the 2-2 pitch to Suarez was a fastball in the zone? Because if you look at like how that whole sequence went, he, fastball outside, he doesn't chase. He gets him on a sweeper in the zone for a called strike. He takes that same sweeper out of the zone and he chases it. But then when he comes back, Suarez fouls off a fastball middle away, fouls it off. So he tries to go back to the exact same spot.
Yeah.
It's a little bit lower and it's launched. Like, what? You have a ball to play with. Why are you trying to throw the exact same pitch he just barely missed? Like, I'm not trying to get super, like, I don't do this all the time, but it felt like that was not the right decision of a pitch to call. And I don't know if that's a Cal Raleigh thing. I'm sorry. I don't know if that was the catcher, if that was the pitcher who had the pitch call.
Yep.
but like, what are we doing? That's
Yeah,
the only
especially the
thing he's been
swing
able to
he
hit
had
recently
prior.
has been fastballs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I chalk it up as a mistake. I do want to apologize and correct myself. I said it was a 2-2 game. It was 2-1. Raleigh's home run
2-1,
tied it.
yeah.
All 5 of those runs in the 8th inning coming before they even recorded an out in that inning.
Yep.
There's sort of second guessing as to along the lines of, turning Cal Raleigh around. His previous 3 at bats, I think, were all from the left side, batting from the right side there. I think if Suarez was looking in that vicinity again, did exactly the damage he wanted to do. Didn't try to pull it, understood, hey, if they go away, if they somehow make that decision to go away again, I know what I'm going to do. And he put a good swing on it. And off the bat, it was like, that's going. As Ty Dane said, that was Dave Niehaus all over that one. I think I may have posed this in an email to you, but and you had this week of like, these games can't overlap. And Raleigh hits the game-tying home run in the bottom of the 8th inning to make it a 2-2 game, and Otani's hitting his first home run within minutes. I think Jim Bowden had 5 minutes. I think it was less than that. It was within just a minute or two, I believe, of Otani's first home run of the night and Cal Raleigh tying things up.
I had somebody reach out to me on social media and tell me that that's intentional. The idea is they don't want to leave a gap between games so that you go do something else. They want you to go from one game straight to the other.
Yeah.
If they were being carried by the same broadcaster, it might be different, but because they're on different networks, when it's competing networks, that's how they do it, is they deliberately overlap it just a little bit so that you jump from one to the other and you don't drift off somewhere else. I don't like it. It's a bad baseball decision. It's for me. It's not for us.
It's different because the start time is okay. You've got 7:05, you've got 7:08, but it's dictated on the starting pitcher. In the NBA, NHL, you can back off the start time. They've actually got that built in case the game in front goes extra innings. There, starting pitcher's ready. You got to go. Let's hear. Go ahead.
I was going to ask about a Toronto thing. So let's play them first, and then we'll do that.
Yes, we've got the Blue Jays side of this. They go home for Game 6. It will be Sunday. Game 7, if necessary, would also be in Toronto at Rogers Center on Monday as well. We've got Carter first, Locked On Blue Jays, with the details of Game number 5.
The worst way that this could have went down, that is not how you want to lose Game 5 of an ALCS. Let's jump right into it. I have given John Schneider the benefit of the doubt throughout this entire playoffs, and yes, there has been a ton of questionable decisions on when he's taking his starting pitchers out, but this one really takes the cake for me. I have no idea what John Schneider is thinking. You have Cal Raleigh, who's a switch hitter and hits 1,000,000 home runs. Jorge Polanco, another switch hitter, and Josh Naylor, there's your lefty. But he decides to go Brendan Little in a 2-1 baseball game in the 8th inning, when the day before, in that high-leverage situation, you went Jeff Hoffman. Why in the world are we going to Brendan Little when he has been shaky at best throughout this entire playoffs and honestly the back half of the regular season? Then to try to save your mistake, you go Seranthony Dominguez. I don't mind Seranthony Dominguez, but when he's off, it's a command issue. He's going to walk people, and he's going to be erratic. And that's exactly what we saw. Just a brain-dead move by John Schneider, and I really hope this is not costing the series. Gotta give Kevin Gausman a shout-out for doing his thing once again. I pray to God that George Springer is ready and available for Game 6, but now the Toronto Blue Jays have laid their bed. Every game from now on is a must-win. And make sure you guys are on the lookout tomorrow morning. We got a bonus episode coming out for our reactions to all the key moments from Game 5.
That was the question I was going to ask I was going to ask about George Springer. Does he play on Sunday? And if he doesn't, are they in trouble?
Can you hold him out Sunday with the thinking of you've got to win 2 games and definitely have him available for Game 7? That was nasty. I mean, he tried staying in the game. Remember, they don't have Bo Bichette. And if you're not just taking him off the ALCS roster right now, he'd probably stay on. You'd lose him, and so. It's probably a few days. I mean, even if this goes Monday, you've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before Game 1 of the World Series on Halloween night.
Why not play him?
Yeah, I think he'll do everything. Now they're on a plane. That does not help. He'll do everything he can do to be available for Game 6. But if they say, you know what, 24 more hours, you're going to be that much better off. I could see him out of the lineup, but that's going to be awfully tough to lose that bat for the Blue Jays.
He mentioned the managerial decisions on pulling pitchers. It ended up Seattle won the game, but I found it really confusing. Top of the fifth, Addison Barger singles. So they pull Bryce Miller to go to Matt Brash. But you're going to Matt Brash at the bottom of the order in what potentially could have been a bunt situation. Like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa could have been bunting there. Andre Jimenez ended up having a swinging bunt. And so it confused me why you would pull your starter to go to Brash when it's the bottom of the order. Let Bryce Miller take care of Kiner-Falefa and Jimenez, and then go to Brash when you come back around to Springer and Lukes and Guerrero. I didn't quite understand the timing of that one.
But again, I do think it was almost predetermined that in this situation, Dan Wilson, he was out there, and it was, and Miller knew it. My night has come to an end.
Once a guy gets on, I'm going to pull you.
Yeah,
we're going to the pin.
At least is as short as it could possibly be in that situation. Yeah. And Brian Wu, we see him for the first time in the postseason, gives up a run, but the rest of the bullpen got the job done. In what was a 2-1 game, they left it for the offense that again came in alive with the big innings. When they're putting runs on the board, both sides, they've had big innings in this series so far.
Yeah, and so on Sunday, it's Trey Yesavage for Toronto. We've seen that already, the youngster with that incredibly over-the-top delivery. And Seattle has not announced a starter yet, so we'll see what happens there. But you have to think, even with Yesavage on the mound, Seattle has the advantage here, simply because, one, they only need to win one, and two, you probably maybe don't have Springer. I don't know. I didn't think Jackson Chourio would play, and he was in today's lineup for Milwaukee. So I have no idea what Springer's going to do, but it feels like you might not have Springer on Sunday. It's just, I can't wait for Sunday. Just get here already. I want this. I want Game 6.
We got Game 6. I'm going to be even more greedy. I want Game 7 Monday. That's it. One series is over in 4. We saw a great Game 4, and we're going to be talking about Shohei for many, many days and years to come for his Game 4 performance. But yeah, I want 7 in this series. I think it's deserving of 7 because these two teams, through the first 5, they've given us drama. They've given us a lot. I think they give us a lot more Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, I'm hyped for this. And I'm hyped tomorrow. We get to talk about this and about the World Series. We are back. There's no baseball tomorrow. We are back with another episode of MLB Game Night.
Yeah, that's going to wrap it for us right now. Make sure you tell your friends all about us as we continue with MLB Game Night, another postseason edition coming Saturday. And it'll be Game 6 in Toronto, Mariners and Blue Jays. And the Mariners are 1 win away. That can't be said enough. 1 win away from getting to the World Series for the first time in franchise history. For Lindsay Crosby, I'm Steve Lenox. As always, we thank you for being part of MLB Game Night, every game, every night.